Scalemodeling, and welcome to part 2 of our Tamiya Kawasaki Ninja ZX-12R build. And if you watched the last video, which I hope you did, you will have seen that we got up to that, the finished engine, which looks fantastic. So now we're moving on to the next step, which is step 3, where we're starting to build on the frame. So let me put step 3 up in the corner there, and let's have a look at what we got to do here. So first of all, we need the sprue that has that on there. Let me just grab that. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up and comment, and hit that notifications bell so you get notified and you won't miss any of the videos as they come up. And if you haven't, you can go back and watch the part 1 of this. This will be in a build series playlist for the Kawasaki Ninja, my first motorbike build. All right, let me just grab the parts we need. Okay, so here they are, all on sprue B, looks like. Yeah. So we need to get the frame off here, a couple of bits of cross member parts, and yeah, other bits and pieces. Doesn't look too difficult, and it looks like we'll probably be able to paint this after it's all put together. Okay, so I'll just go ahead now and cut all these off, and we'll make a start. Okay, so these are all the parts we need. Let me just bring the camera down a bit closer. Okay, that's better. So what I'll do now is I'll cut off all the little nubs, tidy everything up, and we can start putting this together. Okay, we're back. Got everything all trimmed and tidied up. And I'm just at the moment testing how I'm going to put this together. It's quite an awkward shape. There's only one connection point down here, which I think is at the front, and I was about to say at the bow because I build so many ships. But what I've decided to do is I'm going to do one side at a time, put all these cross member pieces in. There's location points for them. There's 1, 2, this one here, which goes right on the end here. It's going to go in there, and then we've got this one here, which will go here. So what I'll do is I'll glue all this side in, and then I'll come across and put these on, and that should be no problem at all, no problem. But I'll do it off camera because my hands are going to be in the way and you're not going to see anything anyway. So I'll come back as soon as it's done, very shortly. Okay, so we're back and we're all glued together. Got those cross member pieces are all in, and it's looking pretty good. There you go. Hard to get my head around the shape. It's so unusual. I mean, I own a bike, but you never really see it like this. So this is the frame. So I put all that together. Now everything on that is to be painted black, except there's a little spot down there. It looks like a little cap of some sort that is actually going to be silver. But I can hand paint that at the end. All right, that's that little piece down in there. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll put this aside before I paint it, because I think it's best if we go straight over to step number 4 and I'll put a 4 up in the corner there. And you can see we've got to do more parts of this frame. This is frame assembly 2. Excuse me. Now, it's sort of in 4 sections mainly. There's that top bit in the corner with some more B parts. Goes down over onto the top of the frame here. So it's going to sit on here. And after it's put together, of course. And then this side angle view where it's got B29, that's giving you the side angle, so you know exactly what the position of it's going to be as position piece B29, which is that piece there, will sit down over the top of the whole thing. So I'm thinking of doing these in subsections and painting them separate before I actually put them down onto here, because it's going to be a lot easier excuse me, to paint that way. Also, the area, it looks like it's under the seat, which sits across here, it's B32, will go down, and then we've got a little bit of a section, looks like it, for the tail light that goes on the back of that. Now there is an area here that it's saying do not cement. Okay, so on step 4 of the instructions, where it's got that little key down the bottom with the little things with a cross through, it says do not cement. Yet there is nowhere on that instructions pointing to that any location that do not cement, which is a bit of concern, because I might cement something I shouldn't. Because I did have a look further in the instruction in both steps 6 and 7, it also has that little do not cement sign, but it actually pointing to the part that you don't cement. Okay, even in step 8 it goes on and shows you where not to cement. But on here, there is nowhere on here referring to that. Anyway, I'm sure it'll all work out. So what I'll do is I'm going to put that aside, like I said, and now we'll get the sprue back out and we'll take off the pieces. We'll take off all the other pieces needed to add to that. Okay, back in a sec. Okay, welcome back. So here we are with our parts all trimmed up and ready to go. Interesting the way these connect. So this part here and this part go together, but I noticed there was nothing to hold it there. There's 2 little notches that go either side of there, but there's nothing to hold it. But then if you look closely at B9, which is this piece actually sits over there like that, see, and that creates that notch there, which is where that's going to sit into like that. Okay, that's upside down, so it's going to go in like that, see, and then we do the other side, just put that on there like that, hold that. Now this will sit in there. It will, because it did before. That's it. So that's got to be glued like that somehow. Okay, so I'm guessing I'll do these 2 sides first. Probably need to clamp them just to make sure they're, although they do sit there quite well. So yeah, I'm going to glue these 2 edges on first, then put that on, and that's that piece done. So we can put that aside, and then we can have a look at at what's next. So the arrow's pointing down, so this is pretty much where we need to work on that lower part afterwards. And it's basically this, the chassis. They're telling us this will need to be attached in there somehow. We'll figure it out, but that's got to be painted. All this has to be painted first, so we won't do that right now. But I'll do this, and then we'll probably end up painting that on its own. This, I think I can connect these 2 together. Let's have a quick look. So that is going to go on like that, I'm guessing. that little piece there fits in there. Like that. Very good. So I'll probably be able to glue that on, although there is a light that goes, oh no, I can still access that to get the light in under there. That looks like a clear piece. G1 looks like a clear piece. So that will be after everything's painted. So yeah, I can probably connect that onto there, and then we'll get all these painted up, I suppose. Yeah, because after that we got to get the engine in here somehow. Well, in here actually. Yeah. All right, I'll get this attached up first and have them ready to paint, and we'll come up back and have a look. Okay, back in a sec. Okay, welcome back. So like I said, I've got this glued together with the front. That went on well, no problems. Now this part here, this sits in here and it sits perfectly like that. It's going to sit in there like that. And I've already test fitted this, so that's going to go down in here like pretty much just like that. Okay, and this, which I've glued the rear guard onto, because I can still access in there for the tail light, the red tail light to go in there, and this will go straight onto there, no problem. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to put all this together, glue all this together, and paint it all together, because I can still access all the areas that I need that can be seen, and it's going to be fine like that. So all the parts will go on. Okay, so yeah, so first I'll go and glue, attach that, and I'll get it all glued up. Then I'll be able to undercoat it and then get some paint on there, some black, which is the flat black, I think it was, or gloss black. We'll check. All right, I'll be back when these are glued together and we're ready to paint. Okay, so here we are, all glued together, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to paint this undercoated black. What I'll also do is, like I showed in my last other videos, I'll just use a bit of plastic to glue in there. That'll form a handle. That's getting covered in there, so you won't be able to see where that is, but so that'll let me hold on to this. And yeah, I'll go put some primer on, and then I'll put the black on there, and then we'll come back and have a look at it. Okay, be back after that. Okay, there's our Outlaw Paints black primer is on, and as expected, looking superb, and no problems painting that at all. I'll give that just 15 minutes is all it needs to dry, and then I'll put the base coat of black over it, and then we'll come back and have a look at that, where we'll be able to touch up, because I think we need to, what do we need to do? We need to touch up, there was a little nut or something there that needed some titanium. Yeah. All right, fantastic. I'll be back very shortly. Okay, welcome back, and I've got the frame painted. Let's have a look at that. Isn't that amazing? It's all done in the black. Come up really, really nice, as expected. So now there's a few little touch-ups we need to do. Couple little, here we go, there's some little like screw heads that need to be done metallic, and a little white cap. Well, this part in here has got to be done white. See that bit there? So I'll do that bit with a brush, and the metallic, like I did with the other parts on the engine, with a toothpick is probably the best way to get those 2 points there. Now I did notice there was also one bolt down there and there that I might also touch. And yeah, we'll just check over the rest of it. I think it's all, that's about all there is. And then we can move on to step 5, which is actually putting the engine inside here. Okay, but first of all, let me just touch up these little bits here. Okay, I'll be back in a sec. Okay, back again, and I've done those parts, so probably won't be able to see, there's tiny little chrome nuts on there that I've touched on there. Those were the instructions they wanted me to do. Maybe you can see the glint of them. There were the other 2 on the other side there as well. And the white is the top of that cap down in there. And there's one more thing we've got to do that I almost forgot, is that red rear taillight lens that goes down in here. And I'm just going to get that off the sprue, which is still here in the packet. So I'll do that. I'll just pop that in there and we'll come back, have a look at that back in a sec. Okay, so there's our little light in there. You can see. There it is. There. So we're done on that step 4 now. So let's move over and start on step 5. We'll be back in a sec. Okay, so we'll put step 5 up in the corner there. And in the meantime, we need to get E21, which is the radiator. There it is there. Looking good. And it even has a few marks on it that make it look a bit worn. Hey, that looks good. What we'll do is we'll just chop. Let's get the radiator off. That's the only part we need for this, other than the engine, and we need some screws that the kit came with. Now, where are they? They should be in our packet here. There they are there. All good. All right. So I won't open that yet until we sort out the engine. There'll also be another bit of tubing. So what I'm going to do right now is I'll go and tidy these bits off here. I'll prime this in black, like I have with everything else, and then I've got some flat aluminium. I'll give that a coat of that, and then that'll be ready to go in straight after the engine's in. Okay, we're back in a sec. Hey, welcome back everybody. So I've got the engine in. The reason I didn't film it going in was because it was really awkward, and it was I had no idea what I was doing. I was trying to figure it out. But basically there's these brackets here that you've got to hold up out of the way as you slide it in sideways. And then there's a little connections up in here that line up, and then it should all be in its right place. It confused me because the carburetors are jammed right up against it underneath the frame there, but I guess that's the way it is. So, but it's in. Now I'm working out the screws and the screw sizes. So it comes with the screws, as you can see here, and we've got the 4mm out of the way. The 4mm one, which is going right now, is going, where is it going? In here. I figured that out, so I'm pretty sure that's going to go down in there. And yeah, so we'll just screw that in. Make sure it's all the way. 4mm. 4mm as in the length. So that's in. Then down in here is that's a 1.2 6mm screw to go in there. guessing it's going to go in that one there. It's magnetized, which helps a lot to hold these screws, so we can put them in like that. I'm just going to place this one going in there. Yes. And that's screwing in, so that's a good sign. That's about it. Right, and then I'm assuming it's the same on the other side. And we'll get our... We've really got to be careful you don't lose these. So this little screw is going to go in here. I guess it's all part of the engine mount system. It's there. No, it doesn't go in there, does it? Yes, it does. Didn't look like it was going to connect into anything. Let me try again. Going to go in? No. Let's make sure I've got the same location. Yep. Definitely not going into that. I hope I got these screw lengths correct. That's the main thing. There's another one there, which is, I think, is 6mm, which should go in there. Yes, that's all right. That's going in. Maybe. Maybe the whole thing is just not perfectly straight. Anyway, I'll tell you what, I'll fiddle with these and then I'll show you where they went in afterwards. Okay, I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so I've got the screws in. I think they're correct. If they're not, I'll change them later, but I'm fairly sure they're in. There's only the two on each side, and that's it. I've also put in this bit of tube here as well. It's 18mm long. It's the thinnest of the tube you get. So yeah, that's gone in. I'm just going to touch it with a bit of glue on the bottom so it doesn't come off. And now we're up to putting the radiator in. Now the radiator, I've only just managed to undercoat it. There it is there. It's all primed up, but I need to spray that in the metallic. What color was it? Metallic. It's flat aluminium. All right. So I'll go spray that now, and then we can fit it in. It doesn't look too hard. It just goes in the back here, and the radiator hose connects into the side of it there. Okay. So yeah, so far so good. All right. I'll get that painted up, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. So here we are with our radiator, all painted up, looking nice. And we just need to fit it to the front, or to the chassis here. It's going to go in here somehow. We have a radiator hose that's going to connect down to the bottom there. So first of all, let me get this out. There's a couple locations for the radiator hose. There's one there and one there, so it looks like it's going to go that way. Just check with the instructions. That does look good. And where is it going to actually sit? Down in there? Interesting. Oh, I see. Okay, so it looks like there's a spot. Okay, there's two little pins. Move that out of the way. So there's two little location points down the bottom where these are going to sit. Looks like. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. I'm just going to slide that down. Just, that's it there. They push into position. That looks excellent. The hoses are going to line up perfectly. I'll pop that in there. I'll pop that one in there. And that looks okay. Just check that. There we go. Oh, that sits in there nicely. Look at that. And this bottom hose at the bottom of there. Done. That looks good. All right, so I notice it doesn't seem to sit against here at all. So I guess that's correct. They're definitely in the right location points underneath. I'll put a touch of glue in there. They're not actually screwed in. So I'll put a little bit of glue down in there and that'll be fine for there too. All right. Okay, I'll be back in a second. Okay, got some CA glue that I'm going to use. Yeah, put a spot of that down in there. Perfect. There. That's it. They're the only places that it's really going to touch anywhere. So that's fine. And now we'll attach the hose. Glue that in place. That's that. And the same with this one. Done. Done. Look at that. Looking nice, eh? All right. So we'll put this aside and we'll see what that's step 5 done now. Yep, that's step 5 complete. So I'll put this aside now and we'll go and have a look at step 6. We'll be back shortly. Okay, so I'll put step 6 up in the corner there, and we're working on the drive chain at the moment, and it's all the B sprue, which is here. There it is here with our sprockets and the chain. And there's also B28, which would be this cog here. Okay, so that's pretty simple. We'll just whip those off. That. Take this off. Like this. And like that. There's one more there. There it is. That's all we need for that. Also part of step 6, as you can see, will be the rear wheel, which we'll also be doing, but let's make a start on this first. Some of the tricky parts of this will be the painting. What they got here is X18, which is all this here. Let me see if I can move the camera in a bit closer. Okay, so that's as close as we can get. So X18 is this center of this sprocket here, which is X18 is semi-gloss black. Then for the chain itself, they've got that as gold leaf. So that'll look really nice, with the top layer being metallic grey. So what I would do there is I'll just tape up both sides of the chain and just airbrush some metallic grey to go in there like that. As for in here, we'll see how I can tape it. May have to just use that with a brush, but it should work out all right. As this will be, I'm guessing this will be silver. This is going to be like an aluminium, so we'll do that aluminium and get that cleaned up. It does say paint with X18 when silver and green as body color. I don't understand what they mean there, but I'm doing it as my bike is, and my bike is having these black, and that being aluminium, and that chain I will probably do the gold leaf. I think that would look good because we've got that beautiful brass look on the engine there, so I think that will help complement that as well. All right, yeah, I'm going to tidy up these pieces and we'll get some paint on there, okay, or at least undercoat them. Be back in a sec. Okay, we're back. These are undercoated in Outlaw Paints black primer. I did the rear wheel as well. I thought I might as well do that. They've come up right. I just did them like 2 minutes ago, so I'll let them dry for another 10 minutes. Now, I realised what the B means on the instructions, TSB. That refers back to the colour of the bike. So they want us to paint the rim same colour as the bike. Well, my bike's red, but my rims aren't red. So I'm going to leave it black. I'm going to do them in a beautiful gloss black. And that'll be fine. But if you wanted to go by the instructions and by the picture on the box, you'd be doing these red. Okay. All right. So like I said, I'll let them dry and we'll come back. There's also a couple other things like the valve in there, the little valve stem. They've got X12 for that, for the stem, which is gold leaf. So, and then the cap on it is X18, which is a semi-gloss black. I'll just do it in a flat black. I don't know if it's going to stand out much. It's really tiny. You can see it in there. But either way, it's just going to be done with a brush, that's for sure. Yeah. The gold may be a little bit tricky, but we'll have to be very, very careful. Should be okay. All right, I'll get back into it, back in a sec. Hey, welcome back. So here we are, painted up, beautiful black. It's come up really, really nice. And there's our chain and cog and so forth on that done. Now, on here, there's also part E22, which is, looks like the disc brake. Now, on the sprue, there's the part, I'll show you it there. There it is there. Now, it has what looks like little indentations that look like, well, they're supposed to represent the holes, but they don't actually go right through. And it doesn't look very realistic. So what I want to do is I want to drill them out. There's also discs here that look like they're for the front wheel. And the same thing, all those little holes, I want to drill them out. Now, unfortunately for me, the Icky Sticky tungsten drill bit set I have, the 0.1 to 1 millimeter, the size that I want, get that open, yeah, they broke. So I've got an order in, and with the efficient service of Icky Sticky, I'm pretty sure I'll have that tomorrow. So a new one of them packets. So I'll be able to drill those out. Okay. Until then, we'll just keep on working on, and do this. So what I'm going to do now is, well, that's pretty much done. Nothing more to do than that, other than the little valve and the cap, which I'll do with a paintbrush. So I'll put that aside. But this one needs a bit of work. Okay, so the instructions for this, let me just have a look. We got X18 is the semi-gloss black, which I did the whole thing off, and that's what the metal parts are. They're the black. Okay, we've got X11, which are the screw bolts there, which will be the, like we've done on the rest of the bike, X11 is the chrome silver, so we can touch them up at the end. The tricky part is the chain links. Now they've got X12, which is gold leaf, which is going to look really nice. So I do want to paint them gold leaf. But the actual top, so this, it's only the outside is gold leaf. The top of it has to be XF56, which will be black, I'm guessing. Have a look. Or metallic grey, metallic grey. So how do I paint that? Well, what I've come up with is I'm going to use some of this liquid mask. I've used this before. It's from Vallejo. It's really good stuff. All I need to do is pour it on. See, this is, take that out of the way now. You can see. There we go. So all I need to do is pour it on there, on the metal part, pour it on that part, and the same with the little cog in the front here. Cover that and let that set. It actually dries clear, but that works really well. And then I can come along with my gold leaf and we'll spray both sides. And then the next idea I have, and I haven't decided if I'm not for sure on which way I'll do it, but to get that metal grey on the top for the chain, I'll either brush it on or I'll mask up both sides and then just airbrush straight down both sides. And I think it'll come up looking pretty good. Okay. So that's my plan. That's what I'm going to do. So let's get this happening. So first I need to work on this and get some of this on. So what I'll do is I'll put this on first. Basically what I do is I'll apply it with a probably with a toothpick. That might be the best way, although a brush might be better too. I'll get myself a small paintbrush and apply this. And once it's on there, once everything on there is all covered, which we'll also have to include here as well, then I'll be able to spray the gold. Now the gold I only really need to spray like that, so I want something to hold this by. I can hold it by putting a clamp on here. Well, actually I can't, can I? I'll have to work out how I'm going to hold it. Probably have this back in here again. Yeah, that's how I'll keep it. And yeah, so that'll be covered in liquid mask along with that. Spray it in the gold leaf. Let all that dry. And then we'll take off the mask. And we should be left with a nice gold looking chain with just the top outside part to do. And I guess the bottom inside bit will have to be done too. So yeah, it's probably going to be best to do that with a brush. All right, enough talking. I'll get onto it. I'll be back in a sec when we got this masked up and ready. Okay guys, so there's our liquid mask. It's on. See that? I've done it on both sides. I'll let that dry properly, and then be able to paint the chain with our gold leaf. All right, be back again in a sec. Hey, we're back again for a sec, and I was just looking at the tire, and there was this seam mark that went all the way around the middle, like a join mark, and I thought, oh, how am I going to get that off? Because I'd never worked on a rubber tire before. So I thought, oh well, I'll ask someone with a bit of experience. So I got on to Jace from Outlaw Paints, and he told me just to sand it off. So I did. Just got some sandpaper and took it off. So there you go. I had no idea. Never come across the problem to do rubber before, but there you go, it's off. So now what I got to do is fit it to the rim. And to do that, pretty much just got to put it on, hey. So let's see how we go. Try and get this on without scratching anything. It's looking good. I'm just going to lift that over, work around. And well, that went on easier than I thought it would too. Look at that. Ah, fantastic. Done. So there's our rear wheel done. Excellent. I'm surprised there's quite a bit of tread on there. I mean, I thought these bikes would come with slicks. I guess you probably could get aftermarket slick tires for it, but But it's okay, I'll leave it as it is. And of course, make sure it's the right way around with the tread going the right way, which I'll be sure I do when I actually put it on the bike. I think that's the way it is supposed to go, rather than like that. Although it's strange, because when you look at putting it on the rim, that's the way the tread is, going by the instructions. But you can't see yet. But down in the next step, when there's views of it, it does look like the tread's the other way. Anyway, that's easy to fix before we do anything serious about that. So yeah, I painted the valve in there as well with the gold flake on there. I don't know if you can see it in there. I might just give it another layer, but it looks quite good. All right, moving on. I'm still waiting on this to dry properly. I'll give it another half an hour to make sure certain it's all good, and then I'll give that a coat of paint. And then we may as well, while we're waiting for paint to dry, move on to step 7. Let's have a quick peek at step 7. I'll put that up in the top corner there. And we're doing the swing arm assembly here with the coil springs going on. Doesn't look too complicated. It's quite a little bits of painting to do. It's all right. Looks pretty good. That's also where the rear, at the end of that step's when the rear wheel goes on as well. So we'll keep that in mind. But okay, so I will get pieces off the sprue to make up that shock absorber. That'll be a good one to start with, and I'll come back when we've got this chain painted as well. All right, be back in a sec. Okay, so I've got all the parts of the suspension off, or the shock absorber, all been trimmed up. And I'm just doing a test fit here. So we've got our spring. There's 3 different colors required on this. So the end of this is going to be silver, metallic. Then in the center there's going to be black. And then this section here, X31, will be titanium gold. Okay, which will be that. And the spring itself is red. Okay, so that all needs to be painted up before this goes on. So this simply slides on like that. Then we've got this little piece here, which slides onto there like that. That's that. And we've got this part, the top of it, which looks like it goes pretty much just like that. And that's how our shock absorber is going to look. This part here is painted quite a few colors as well. So we've got the titanium silver, which will be pointing here. So around there is going to be the matching titanium silver or gold. Let me see, 18. What was X18? Gloss black. Okay, so that's be gloss black. And then 31 is titanium gold. Right, so this major part is all gold, gloss black in there, and then we've got silver, which is just the tops of the little bolt screw there, and this tip here, which will be silver. There's also a decal to go on here later as well, decal number 16. But in the meantime, it's a matter of getting this painted up, and the best way to go about it would be to mask it up and do each section at a time. But yeah, that should go together quite easily. Just put that down. All sits in there nicely. Okay. All right. I'm still waiting on this to dry. It's about right now, I think. Should be fine now. I'm going to go and paint that up now, and we'll come back and have a look at it. Back in a sec. Okay, there it is, painted up. The gold looks really nice. Just going to make sure it's completely dry before. All I have to do is start scraping off the liquid mask areas. To do that, I will use a toothpick that's not too sharp, because I don't want to be damaging anything underneath, but it should come off quite easily. Same with all the way around here. Did manage to keep it black underneath on that side, so that's probably going to be fine to leave like that. But unfortunately I've got a bit of gold on this side, so it looks like I'll be just using a paintbrush just to run along there. I'll probably go over the whole thing anyway and get that. Well, it's not even going to be black, is it? What color was that going to be? XF56 is metallic grey. Okay, so yeah, I'll run along that with what have I got here? I've got some metallic grey, no problem. All right, so yeah, I'll start scratching this off shortly. We'll come back and fingers crossed this will be nice and black. All right, back in a sec. Yeah, I just thought I'd show you a bit of progress. I've just done this. I've taken the mask off that. It comes off really easy. It's just a matter of just sliding the toothpick along there and taking it off. Come up really, really good. No unwanted paint anywhere. It's nice and neat. I'll go do this side now and then we'll come back again and take another look. Back in a sec. And I've also black undercoated all the shock absorber parts too. Almost forgot to do that. I'd already started taping up this part here, so I had to take the tape off. But, yeah, that's all good. I'll retape that up and get the top of that sprayed. The coil spring itself is red, so I'll spray that with the red, and we'll get these little bits looking really nice. Okay, back shortly. Okay, welcome back. So there's our chain, and it's come up really well. I've got all the masking off, or the liquid mask off. A couple little spots I might touch up, but other than that, yeah, it's looking good. So now I'm going to, as I have already, I've undercoated the rest, the spring, and I'll mask that up because we've got to do bits on that. There's also some chrome needs to be put on the bolt heads on there, so I'll touch those up as well. And there's our spring, looking quite good. Just gave that a second coat, so that's going to look really, really nice. And yeah, I'll come back when I've got a bit more done. Might be a sec. Okay, welcome back again. So I'm just waiting for some parts to dry. This bit here, part of the shock absorber, just done the gold on there and the black, so I'll let that dry. This one here, painted up. That still needs a bit of silver put on it. Well, while that's happening, we'll move on to the instructions. Step 7, so that's the part there that was all being working on at the moment. Now moving over to here, and we need to get these together off the sprue, E16 and E5. So I'll put that there. We can put this on top so we can see. So there's E5 and E16. This is getting to where the rear of the bike is and where the wheel will attach. So I need to take those two off, and then we need E28, which is down here. This bit here sort of goes, I'm guessing it's inside the back wheel on this. But I'll get those parts off. This needs quite a bit of complicated painting to get that to look right. Otherwise, this is T17. So I'm guessing that these parts here, TS17 is gloss aluminium. Okay, so we'll see if we can dig up some of that and get that done. But I'll get them off now. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so there's our parts off that sprue, cleaned up. So basically these two are going to go together like this. Get that right. It's going to go in there like that. Okay. The shock absorber that we're working on will go up through there and connect onto these. Then we've got this part, which is going to connect into there like that. Like that. And this is where our back wheel will go inside here. So that's probably is going to be one of the brake calipers. A little bit of detail working on that. We've also got a little valve thing there that connects on the end of that. All right, so the good thing about this is I can glue these two parts together and spray them and get them completely sprayed up, and then we can come and attach these afterwards after they're all sprayed up and detailed as they need to be. Okay, so quite a little bit of work to go on these step 7, that's for sure. But once this is done and the shock absorbers together, those two parts come together and we put the rear wheel on in the chain, as you can see it in the instructions there. Okay, so I'll try and make a bit more progress before we have to end this video because we're getting a bit long. We'll see how much we can get done. I'll be back in a sec. Hello, welcome back again. Now, this part here, I'm just going to show you that glues on there. You can't really make a mistake with that. It just sits in there. No problem at all. This part here, you've got to be a little bit tricky. You put it in at an angle this way and curve this around so it'll fit through there. And then when it goes down, these two little brackets will connect onto the side of the strut at the bottom. And that's it, it's in. Very important point though, if you look at the instructions up there, be aware of that arrow that points from when you build this to put it into the other bit, because that's the next step. Don't go over to where it shows this as a profile and you're looking at the angle the way it's sitting in there, because if you do, you might miss the little do not glue that's faded out. You can just see in the instructions there, and accidentally glue this down here. Don't glue it. It's supposed to be like that, I'm guessing, so that it'll fit properly when whatever connects to the top here does. So yeah, that's how it sits. That's how it's going to be. Let it move like that, and that is on. So now we need to get the chain on and the rear wheel on. So let me just grab these pieces. There's a long screw we need that's going to go right through the center there as well. So we'll get that. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so we've got our tire ready to go, but I almost forgot that I haven't done the disc on here yet. And the reason for that was because I was waiting for my order from ickysticky.com.au for my tungsten drill bits, and here they are. They came yesterday. So here we go. We've got all the drill bits we need now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drill out all the little holes in the discs, and then that goes onto there. Then we can fit the chain on top of there and the whole thing onto the swing arm of the bike. All right, so we'll see if we can get this done in this video. I will get these drilled out for sure, but we might have to wait till the next video before we actually fit these parts together. But we'll see how we go. All right, we'll be back in a sec. Okay, back with the disc all drilled out. A little bit time consuming, but not too bad. Now I used a 0.8 mil drill bit. It's perfect for that. All right. Now what you find sometimes, and depending on the drill bit, some of the plastic sort of sticks out on the back side of it. So what I would do is get a nice sharp razor blade and just go along and just shave off the little plastic filings that stick up through the hole. I also, just to clean the holes out a little bit more, I have an old bent 0.3 mil needle. I just stuck that through there and twisted in each hole and got any remnants out of there that might have been stuck in the hole, and then hit it with the airbrush. Just blew some air through it and it's come up fine. It's good. So now I'm going to go paint that in the silver. It's actually X18 they're suggesting, I think. No, X32, which is, yeah, titanium silver. So I'll get that painted up, stick it on the wheel, and then we can come back and connect all this together. Be back in a sec. Okay, welcome back again. So I've managed to, I'm just holding this swing arm in place. There's our discs on there in place. I actually thought they sat on the other side, but I had it all the wrong way around. So I've slid this in over the chain. I didn't actually glue the chain onto the wheel. So I thought, well, I don't really need to because this screw's going through here. So as you can see, this is the screw. There it is there. And that's going to go right through. And now I'm just going to tighten it up. Hopefully you can see there. Just carefully tighten it up to about. Feels all right. And there it is. It's in. Now, I was a bit concerned because I thought this cog here lined up with that, but it doesn't, so we're okay. I thought, oh my God, the chain's too long. But it isn't, it's okay. So there it is. So I'm going to leave that like that. You'll see that the brake caliper on the other side sits up and sits perfectly on there. So that's fine. This wheel will actually turn. How about that? Isn't that nice? I'm going to have to do a bit of touch up because I touched up the inside of that because you can see it through there, and it didn't tell you to paint that, but I have to because you can see it in there. So I touched it up. So I've put it on before it dried properly. So what I'll do is I'll just touch that. That'll be fine. But yeah, that's good. All fine. We'll leave that at where we're at now. I'll just lay that there. There it is. And that's actually the completion of step 7. Step 8 is pretty simple. It's just a matter of attaching this to the rest of the frame. But we'll come back and we'll do that in the next video because this is going way over time. All right, so anyway, thank you all for watching. Please, if you've got any comments below, put them down in the comments section. Let me know what you think. And I'm really impressed. I'm really happy with it. It's going together really nice for my first bike build. And it's great. So yeah, if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you get notified of the videos as they come out. And hit the thumbs up if you like the video. Okay, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in part 3 hopefully. All right, bye for now. Cheers.